Hello, my name is Leo and welcome to the reading of the Elder Scrolls. Today we're going to be reading A Game at Dinner by an Anonymous Spy. Forward for the publisher. The history behind this letter is almost as interesting and dark as the story it tells. The original letter to the mysterious Dwayne was copied and begun circulating around the ashlands of Vardenfell a few months ago. In time, a print found its way to the mainland and Prince Halal Helsith's palace outside Amalexia. While the reader may conclude after reading this letter that the prince would be furious about such a work, impugning his highness with a great malevolence, quite the reverse was true. The prince and his mother, Queen Berenzia, had it privately printed into bound copies and sent to libraries of booksellers throughout Morrowind. As matter of record, the prince and the queen have not officially stated whether the letter is a work of pure imagination or based on an actual occurrence. The house dress has publicly denounced the work, and indeed no one named Dwayne, despite the suggestions in the letter, has ever been linked to the house. We leave the reader to interpret the letter as he or she believes. No scam, publisher. Okay. Dark Lees Dwayne. That's a name. You're right. Wait, no, keep doing the same voice. Okay. Keep doing the same voice. Hang on a second. Gotta fix something. Make sure that cables aren't touching. Otherwise there'll be weird feedback things coming in. Sorry. Dark Lees Dwayne. You asked for a detailed description of my experience last night, and the reasons for my plea to House Drez for another assignment. I hope I have served you well in my capacity as informant in the court of Prince Helsith, a man who I have stated in many previous reports could teach more like Baal how to scheme. As you know, I've spent nearly a year now working my way into his inner circle of advisors. He was in need of friendship when he first arrived in Morrowind, and eagerly took to me and a few others. Still, he was disinclined to trust any of us, which is perhaps not surprising, given his tenuous position in Morrowind society. For your unholiness's recollection, unholinesses? Okay. The prince is the eldest son of Berenzia, who was once the queen of Berenzia, and once the queen of the hierarch kingdom of Wayrest. At the death of her husband, Prince Helsith's stepfather, King Edwine, I remember that guy, there was a power struggle between the prince and Edwire's daughter, the Princess Elisanda. I kind of remember that name too. Though the details of what transpired are imperfect, it is clear that Elisanda won this battle and became queen, banishing Helsith of Berenzia. Berenzia's only other child, Morgana, I remember her, had already left court to marry and become the king of Somerset Isle Kingdom of Firsthold. Berenzia and Helsith crossed the continent to return to Morrowind only last year. They were well received by Berenzia's uncle, a common king, Halal Athrin Lethrin, who had taken the throne after Berenzia's abdication more than 40 years ago. Berenzia made it clear that she had no designs on reclaiming the throne, but merely to retire to her family estates. Helsith, as you know, had lingered in the royal court, and many have whispered that while he lost the throne of Wayrest, he does not intend to lose the throne of Morrowind at Lethrin's death. I've kept your unholiness informed of the prince's movements, meetings, and plots, as well as the names and characters of his other advisors. As you may recall, I've often thought that I was not the only spy in Helsith's court. I told you before that a particular Dunmer councillor of Helsith looked like a fellow I had seen in the company of Throida Cerrone. Oh, really? The archcanon of the Tribunal Temple. Another, a young Nord woman, has been verified to visit the Imperial Fortress in Balmoral, of course. In their cases, they might well have been on Helsith's own business. But I couldn't be certain. I had begun to think myself paranoid as the prince himself when I found myself doubting the sincere loyalty of his prince's chamberlain, Burgess, a Breton who had been in his employ since his days in the court of Waywest. That is the background on that night. Last night. Yesterday morning, I received a curt invitation to dine with the prince. Based only on my own paranoia, I dispatched one of my servants, who is a good and loyal servant of the house Dress, to watch the palace and report back anything unusual. Just before dinner, he returned and told me what he had witnessed. A man cloaked in rags had been given entrance into the palace, and had stayed there for some time. When he left, my servant saw his face beneath the cloak, an alchemist of infamous repute, said to have been a leading leading suppliers, okay, sure, grammar begone, whatever, of exotic poisons. A fine observer, my servant, had also noticed that the alchemist entered the palace smelling of wickweed, bittergreen, and something alien and sweet. When he left, he was odorless. Suspicious? Oh, because he's carrying some kind of ingredients or potions that smell like that? Right, but the smell is actually on his body? Yeah, that makes sense. He had come to the same conclusions as I did. The prince had procured ingredients to prepare a poison. Bittergreen alone is deadly when eaten raw, but the other ingredients suggested something far deeper. As your unholiness can doubtless imagine, I went to dinner at that night prepared for any eventuality. So his unholiness, are we talking about Dark Brotherhood right now? Could be. It's quite possible. All the Prince Helsith's other councillors were in attendance, and I noticed that all were slightly apprehensive. Of course, I imagined that I was in a nest of spies, and all knew of the prince's mysterious meeting. It is just as likely that some knew of the alchemist's visit, while others were simply concerned by the nature of the prince's invitation, and still others merely unconsciously adopted the tense disposition of their fellow, better informed councillors. The prince, however, was in fine mettle, and soon had everyone relaxed and at ease. At 9, we were all ushered into his dining hall, where the feast had been laid out, and what a feast! Oh man, I'm getting hungry now. Honeyed gore apples, fragrant stews, roasts in various blood sauces. Oh man! I haven't eaten today. I haven't eaten dinner yet. And every variety of fish and fowl, expertly and ostensibly prepared. Crystal and gold flagons of wine, Flynn, Shane, and Maize. Wait, what's my favourite one? Shane. No, it's not. What's my favourite one? I forgot the name of it. Anyway. And maids were all at our seats to be savoured as appropriate with each course. As tantalizing as the aromas were, it occurred to me that in such a maze of spices and flavours, a discreet poison would be undetectable. Throughout the meal, I maintained the illusion of eating the food and drinking the liquor, but I was serendipitous and swallowed nothing. Oh really? How do you do that? Finally, the plates of food were cleared from the table, and a tureen? I don't know what that means, of a spicy broth was placed in the centre of the banquet. The servant who brought it then retired, closing the banquet hall door behind him. Uh-oh. This is reminding me of Red Wedding. No, not Red Wedding. The other. Same room, but much later in the series. Series. Yeah. The let's say the revenge for the Red Wedding. Yes, that's talking about Game of Thrones, of course. Not A Game at Dinner. That's the name of this book. Anyway, it smells divine, my prince, said the Marchioness Corglar, the Nord woman. But I cannot eat another thing. Your Highness, I added, feigning a tone of friendliness and slight intoxication. You know that everyone at this table would gladly die to put you on the throne of Morrowind. How'd you get Morrowind out of that? I don't know. But is it really necessary that we gorge ourselves to death? The others at the table agreed with appreciative groans. Prince Helseth smiled. I swear by Verima the Gifter, my dark liege, even you have never seen a smile such as this one. Ironic words! You see, an alchemist visited me today, as some of you already doubtless know. He showed me how to make a marvelous poison, and its antidote. A most potent poison. Excellent for my purposes. Oh wait, is he going to say that the stew is the antidote, and that's how he's going to get everyone to drink it? We'll say. No restorative spell will aid you once you've ingested it. Only the antidote in the tureen, will save you from certain death. And what a death, from what I've heard. I am eager to see if the effects are all that the alchemist promised. It should be horribly painful for the afflicted, but quite entertaining. No one said a word. I could feel my heart beating hard in my chest. Your Highness, said Ararat the Dunmer, I suspected of alliance with the temple. Have you poisoned someone at this table? You are very astute, Ararat, said Prince Helseth, looking about the table, eyeing each of his advisors carefully. This is like Secret Hitler. It is like Secret Hitler. Oh, what's the other one? I know what you're talking about. I don't remember the name of the game. It's someone's the bad guy, and you're looking at people's eyes to try to figure out. It's all about poker faces. Anyway, eyeing his advisors carefully. Little wonder I value your counsel. Wait. Oh, right. I do value your counsel. Right, sorry. As indeed I value all in this room. It would be perhaps easiest for me to say who I haven't poisoned. I haven't poisoned any who serve but one master. Any whose loyalty to me is sincere. I haven't poisoned any person who wants to see King Helseth on the throne of Morrowind. I haven't poisoned any who isn't a spy for the Empire, the Temple, the House of Tovani, the House of Redoran, the House of Ingel, the House of Dress. What about Halal? He is Halal. Oh, of course he is. I'm an idiot. Your Unholiness. He looked directly at me at his last words. I know that in certainty. What is house dress? Is house dress the sixth house? Maybe. I know that in certainty. My face is practiced at keeping my thoughts from showing. Yeah, poker face. But I immediately thought of every secret meeting I've had, every coded message I've sent to you in the house, my dark liege. What could we know? What could he know? What could he, even without knowing, suspect? I felt my heart beating even faster. Was it fear or poison? I couldn't speak, certain as I was that my voice would betray my calm facade. Those loyal to me who wish harm on my enemies may be wondering how I can be certain that the poison has been ingested. Is it possible that the guilty party, or dare I say, parties, were suspicious and merely pretended to eat and drink tonight? Of course! But even the craftiest of pretenders would have to raise a glass to his or her lips and put empty forks or spoons in their mouths to play the charade. The food, you see, was not poisoned. Cups and cutlery were. If you did not partake out of fear, you've poisoned just the same, and sadly missed an excellent roast. That's a shame. Sweat beaded on my face, and I turned from the prince so he would not see. My fellow advisors, all of them, were frozen in their seats. From the Marchioness Kogula, white with fear, to Kema Indimil, visibly shaking. From the furrowed, angry brow of Ararat to the statue-like stare of Burgess. I couldn't help thinking then, could the prince's entire councilship be compromised of nothing but spies? Was there any person at the table loyal? And then I thought, what if I were not a spy myself? What if I trust Helseth to know that? No one knows better than his advisers, both the depth of the prince's paranoia and the utter implausibility? Is that right? Implausibility? Sure. Of his admission? If I were not a spy for the House Dreth, even then would I be safe? Could a loyalist be poisoned because of a not-so-innocent misjudgment? The others must have been thinking the same, loyalists and spies alike. While my mind whirled, I could hear the prince's voice addressing all assembled. The poison acts quickly. If the antidote is not taken within 1 minute from now, there will be death at the table. I couldn't decide whether I had been poisoned or not. My stomach ached, but I reminded myself that it might have been the result of sitting at a sumptuous banquet and not partaking. My heart shook in my chest, and a bitter taste like trauma root stung my lips. Again, was it fear or poison? These are the last words you will hear if you are disloyal to me, said Prince Helseth, still smiling that damned smile as he watched his advisers squirming in their seats. Take the antidote and live. I get it. There is no poison. But anyone who drinks the poison is then by admitting their own guilt, and then he'll have them executed. Possibly. Could I believe him? I thought of what I knew of the prince and his character. Would he kill a self-confessed spy at his court, or would he rather send the vanquished back to his masters? The prince was ruthless, but either possibility... So in that situation... Sorry to cut the recording, cut the reading. In that situation, if I was a spy, and if I was worried that the prince had poisoned me, I would not drink the... What's it called? Terrell? I gotta look that word up after. Because... if that is the antidote, and that does cure me, he's going to kill me because he knows I'm a spy. Right? Unless I can somehow convince him that, no, I was just paranoid. Because I'm an idiot. He'd probably still kill me. Right? But if that's not poison, then obviously drinking it is that's his plan, right? So the best thing to do would be to not drink it at all. Or eat it, or whatever it is. Keep going. Yes. Would he kill a self-confessed spy at his court, or would he rather send the vanquished back to his masters? The prince was ruthless, but either possibility was within his manner. Surely the theatricality of this whole dinner was meant to be a presentation to instill fear. Exactly. What would my ancestors say if I joined them after sitting at the table, eventually dying of poison? What would they say if I took the antidote, confessing my allegiance to you in the house dress, and was summarily executed? And, I confess, I thought of what you might do to me even after I was dead. I had grown so lightheaded and filled with my own thoughts that I didn't see Burgess jump from his seat. I was only suddenly aware that he had the taurine in his hands and was gulping down the liquid within. There were guards all around, though I never noticed them entering. "Burgess!" said Prince Helseth, still smiling. You have spent some time at Ghostgate, House Redoran. You didn't know, Burgess laughed sourly. No, House. I report to your stepsister, the Queen of Rayrest. I've always been in her employ. By Akatosh, you've poisoned me because you thought I was working for some damnable dark elves? You're half right, said the prince. I didn't guess that you were who you were working for, or even that you were a spy. But you're also wrong about me poisoning you. You poisoned yourself when you drank from the tureen. See, I was right. Well, I actually thought that it was just not poisoned at all. Your Unholiness, you don't need to hear how Burgess died. I know that you have seen much over the many, many years of your existence, but you truly don't want to know. I wish I could erase the memory of his agonies from my own mind. The council was dismissed shortly thereafter, and I do not know if Prince Helseth knows or suspects that I too am a spy. I do not know how many others last night, were as close as I was from drinking from the tureen before Burgess did. I only know that if the prince does not suspect me now, he will. I cannot win at the games he mastered long ago at the court of Rayrest, and I beg your Unholiness, my dark liege, Durain, to use your influence in the house dress and dismiss your loyal servant from this charge. Publisher's note. Of course, the anonymous writer's signature has not been on any reprint of the letter since the original. Well, that was interesting. That was a game at dinner? Yes, by an anonymous spy. Now, there's two things I want to look up. Okay. The first thing is house dress. Alright, hang on. Let me look this up. Now, I certainly hope it does not happen. But of late, when I've been doing day-by-day recordings, sometimes the recording fails and it cuts out the remaining of the video. I certainly hope that doesn't happen with book readings, because although I have done a couple of two-parter book readings, I really don't want to. Especially when I've already read the whole thing. I don't want to. And the worst part is like, 30 seconds after I started the recording, it died. Shit. Alright, anyway, dress. I'm just gonna wait, was it dress? Hang on. Yes. D-R-E-S, yes. What was the other thing you want to look up? I wanted to look up, what was the other thing I want to look up? Tureen. But that's actually a word I want to look up on Google. Right now I want to look up dress. God, why are you not searching? Oh god, is my internet's not turned on. That's okay, I can fix this, I can fix this. I hope I can fix it. Yes, thank god I can fix it. Okay. Please hold. House dress. Okay. House dress is an agrarian agricultural society, and its large salt rice plantations rely completely on slave labor for their economic viability. Always firm temple supporters. House dress is hostile. Oh, Dress! Dress is the guy that lives near Vivek, right? But it says one of the great houses of Morrowind. Presence is only on the mainland. That's why it's not in this game. Makes sense. Carry on. Alright, now what's a tureen? A tertine. No, it's tureen. Whatever, what is it? Okay, hang on. Come on. Come on, Google, you can do it. Tureen. Yeah. A tureen, a deep covered dish from which soup is served. Okay. A tureen is a serving dish for foods such as soup or stews, often shaped as a broad, deep oval vessel with fixed handles and a low domed cover with a knob or handle. Over the centuries, turrenes have appeared in many different forms, some round, rectangular, or made into fanciful shapes, such as animals or wildfowl. Okay, so it's a pot. Alright, well this has been, once again, a game at dinner by an anonymous spy. This has been another reading of the Elder Scrolls, but for now, my name is Leo, and I will see you next time.